United States military has taken a proactive approach to land management and troop readiness through a carefully executed prescribed burn operation at Joint Base Langley-Eustis in Virginia. From March 25 to March 28, 2025, the 733d Civil Engineering Squadron, in collaboration with the U.S. Fish Wildlife Service, conducted controlled fires across designated training areas to enhance ecosystem health and military operational efficiency. This multi-agency effort underscores the military's commitment to environmental stewardship while ensuring that training grounds remain safe and accessible for soldiers. Joint Base Langley-Eustis, home to the Air Combat Command and the Army's Training and Doctrine Command. Is a critical hub for military readiness. The installation spans over 3,000 acres of mixed woodland and grassland, providing essential space for live-fire exercises, urban warfare simulations, and aviation training. The base's proximity to the Chesapeake Bay also makes it an ecologically sensitive area, where unchecked vegetation could lead to wildfires that disrupt both military operations and nearby civilian communities. The prescribed burn initiative serves a dual purpose, mitigating wildfire risks and maintaining optimal training conditions for war fighters. The 733d Civil Engineering Squadron, specializing in infrastructure and environmental management, led the operation with precision. Using advanced meteorological data and fire behavior modeling, the team ignited controlled burns under strict safety protocols. Air Force firefighters and wildlife biologists monitored wind patterns, humidity levels, and fuel loads to ensure the flames remained contained. The fires targeted invasive plant species, such as the destructive emerald ash borer, while promoting the growth of native grasses that support local wildlife. Additionally, the removal of dense underbrush reduces potential hiding spots for pests like ticks, which pose health risks to personnel during field exercises. Colonel Mark Reynolds, commander of the 733d CES, emphasized the strategic importance of the operation. Prescribed burns are a force multiplier. By maintaining these training areas, we ensure our soldiers and airmen can focus on mission readiness without unnecessary environmental hazards. This isn't just about fire prevention, it's about sustaining the land so it can sustain our forces. Senior Airman Olivia Bithell, who documented the operation, noted the coordination required between military and civilian agencies. We are not just fighting fires, we're preventing them. And that means better training grounds for our troops. Environmental scientist Dr. Lisa Carter from the U.S. Fish Wildlife Service said, military lands are some of the most biodiverse in the country because they're managed with long-term goals in mind. This partnership ensures ecological health while supporting national defense. This is not the first time the U.S. military has employed controlled burns as a land management tool. Similar operations have been conducted at Fort Bragg, Camp Pendleton, and other major installations where training demands intersect with environmental conservation. The practice dates back to the early 2000s, when wildfires exacerbated by drought conditions forced the Department of Defense to adopt proactive measures. Lessons learned from past incidents, such as the 2018 wildfire at Fort McHenry that disrupted training for weeks, have reinforced the need for preventive strategies. The military's approach mirrors techniques used by the National Park Service and the U.S. Forest Service, demonstrating how defense and conservation efforts can align. From a military readiness perspective, the prescribed burns at Joint Base Langley-Eustis directly enhance operational capabilities. Clearer terrain allows for more effective maneuver training, while reduced wildfire risks mean fewer disruptions to critical exercises. The Air Force's 1st Fighter Wing, stationed at Langley, relies on uninterrupted access to training ranges for pilots honing air-to-ground combat skills. Similarly, Army units from nearby Fort Eustis conduct joint operations that require expansive, obstacle-free landscapes. By maintaining these areas, the military ensures that training remains realistic and repetitive, key components of combat preparedness. The operation also carries broader political and security implications. As climate change increases the frequency and intensity of wildfires, the Department of Defense has identified environmental resilience as a national security priority. A 2024 Pentagon report warned that unchecked environmental degradation could compromise military infrastructure, particularly in coastal regions like Hampton Roads. By investing in sustainable land management, the military not only safeguards its own assets but also sets an example for federal climate adaptation strategies. Additionally, partnerships with agencies like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service strengthen intergovernmental cooperation, which could prove vital in future disaster response scenarios. Looking ahead, the success of this prescribed burn could pave the way for expanded environmental initiatives across other military installations. The Army Corps of Engineers is already evaluating similar programs for bases in wildfire-prone regions like California and Colorado. Meanwhile, lawmakers in Congress are reviewing proposals to increase funding for military conservation projects, citing their dual benefits for national security and ecological preservation. As Joint Base Langley-Eustis continues to monitor the burned areas for regrowth, the lessons learned here will likely influence DoD-wide policies on land management. The controlled burns at Joint Base Langley-Eustis represent a forward-thinking approach to military readiness, one that balances the demands of training with the necessity of environmental care. By taking proactive steps today, the armed forces ensure that both the land and the warriors who train on it remain resilient for the challenges of tomorrow. This is defense preparedness.